Welcome to the Positive Growth Doctor podcast for women. I am your host, Dr. Christina Wilson. I created the Positive Growth Doctor after years of dealing with societal expectations, self-doubt, and perfectionism. I leveraged my 30 years of experience as a positive psychologist to address limiting beliefs and gain clarity through faith-based emotional wellness techniques rooted in mindset renewal and biblical truth. Subscribe to the podcast and check out the earlier episodes so you don't miss a thing. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Positive Growth Doctor podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christina Wilson. We are in that final episode of the series, The Road to the Divine Reset, Unmasking, Unwinding, and Unlocking Purpose. Hiding behind a mask while trying to adhere to societal expectations is exhausting. This sheer exhaustion or mask fatigue forces you to hide behind the true struggles, emotions, and doubts behind a facade of having it all together. And in our final episode of this series, we are addressing the heavy burden of wearing that mask and pretending everything is fine when it's not. We'll discover how hiding our true selves prevents us from authentically walking in our God-given purpose. And together, we'll explore biblical examples of vulnerability and how shedding the mask allows us to connect deeply with both God and with others. And we'll emphasize that true purpose is found in our authenticity and how genuine community of women is absolutely vital for supporting us as we finally take off that mask and step into our calling. So you can find the full transcript for this episode on your favorite podcast app, or you could just go on over to the Positive Growth Doctor YouTube channel. So let's dive into the weight of that mask and modern expectations. Now, the modern world demands a polished exterior, and women face intense pressure to wear a mask or totally controlling everything, juggling the career, family, faith, mental health, without ever showing a crack or even a moment of vulnerability. And this leads to a severe emotional fatigue and relational superficiality. It creates a heaviness that no one can endure alone. But thankfully, God gave us His Word as a way to navigate these difficult realities and biblical truths. It helps us embrace our vulnerability. The enemy uses shame to keep you hidden in the dark. And if the enemy can keep you isolated behind that mask of artificial perfection, you can never form authentic relationships needed to heal, nor can you share the raw testimony that God wants you to use to set others free. So here are 3 biblical truths that remind us of why vulnerability is so incredibly powerful. And the first comes from James 5:16, which links vulnerability and confession within a community directly to healing, reminding us that prayer of the righteous person is powerful and effective. And then in 2 Corinthians 12:10, flips the worldly logic upside down by stating that our weakness is actually a catalyst for divine strength. And then in Genesis 3:7-9, exposes how humanity's original instinct after the fall was to hide behind fig leaves instead of walking openly with God. So we need to build that authentic, mask-free community. But it's not easy, is it? But it's doable and it's important. And here's why. Authenticity is the prerequisite for an impactful, enduring purpose. And that mask fatigue, it drains the very energy that you need to fulfill God's given calling. So dropping your mask in a safe community not only brings deep healing to your own life, but it gives the women around you permission and courage to do the exact same thing. This week, I challenge you to share a genuine struggle or a prayer request with one trusted friend or within a safe community this week. And here are some questions for you to ponder and learn from as you start the week. So the first reflection question is, what part of your story or current struggle are you the most afraid to let other Christian women see? A second is, how is the energy spent maintaining your mask hindering you from moving forward in the actual God-given assignment? And last is, who is the one trusted person with whom you can practice being completely unfiltered and vulnerable with this week? As I've been exploring all of this with you, I just keep in my mind having these flashes of the retreat that God came to me with and asked me to host this retreat. And it's actually something that I thought, well, that would be something in the future. But, I went to God with it and he says, no, the time is now, right now, because you and other women need this. And I've created you for this. But it's, that community that I keep talking about, that's what it's all about. It's just 3 days from October 23rd through the 25th to come together and be vulnerable and dive into his word and embrace one another and share what's on our hearts and on our minds and grow together and heal together. I cannot wait. It is the Divine Reset Retreat, and it's coming to you in Noblesville, Indiana, from October 23rd through the 25th. Now, the ticket covers everything except for travel. So be sure to check that out. And I have included a link in the show notes for you. I hope that this episode has challenged you and that it's encouraged you. And if this series has blessed you, please share it with others so they can grow on their journey as well. And leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts because that extends the reach to so many more women. I appreciate you. And even though we are wrapping up the road to the Divine Reset, our journey isn't over. So let's meet up again next week for an all new episode, an all new series as we grow together. I will see you then.
Thanks for listening to the Positive Growth Doctor podcast. Be sure to leave a review and tell other women about the podcast. Let's support each other. Find the full transcript for this episode on your favorite podcast app and learn more at thepositivegrowthdoctor.com. And be assured, you are not alone on your journey.